Hey, what's going on, Summoners? My name is Crumbs, and today we're going to be taking a look at how every role can carry in low elo. Each role in the game has a ton of different ways to carry, and in this video, we'll be going through each one and how they can carry games. Alongside this, we will focus on some strong fundamentals and tactics that all roles need to solidify. Nonetheless, let's hop right into the video. If you're wanting to carry in low elo, there's a ton of cool tips and tricks we can show you. However, one of the most important things you can do is to continue perfecting your fundamentals and your champion mastery. Having solid fundamentals allows you to adapt to each and every game on the fly without having to constantly worry about your next move. It lets you automatically make the right play and push through hard matches with ease. Having strong fundamentals will allow you to carry in every way that we're going to cover in this video. Sure, it may not be necessary to have them mastered, but it'll definitely help you apply these strategies with ease. Speaking of which, it's also important to continue practicing with a limited champion pool. Whether you're opting for the one-trick strategy or focusing on 3 champs at once, it's important to have a high level of mastery on said champions. This allows you to focus on other important aspects of the game. Instead of taking time during laning phase trying to remember that one combo, you can watch the map and plan out your next move. While you're sitting there figuring out if Warden's Mail is better than damage in a specific matchup, a master of their champion will build it without second thought and waste no time at all. Again, you don't need to be a one-trick to carry games with the strategies mentioned in this video, but it'll definitely help you out. Solidifying your fundamentals and mastering your champion can be really hard, but not to worry, Summoners. Here at Pro Guides, we've got your back. With our in-depth guides, we can take your macro to the next level and have you embrace your inner Uzi. If courses and lessons aren't your thing, don't worry. We have challenger level coaches that are available 24/7 to help you out. So what are you waiting for? Go check us out and join the Pro Guides family. Nonetheless, let's get back into the video and dive into our first role. Starting us off strong, we're gonna dive into the top lane. Carrying from top lane in low elo is all about using and absorbing pressure properly. And no, we aren't talking about you permanently pushing and dying each time. That strategy doesn't work anymore. That is a prime way to not use nor absorb pressure. In the top lane, there's quite a few playstyles that allow you to carry games with pressure. If you're looking to solo carry your games, you'll have to opt for a split push style. While tanks like Ornn are also amazing with pressure control, it's a bit more complex for them to win games compared to someone like Camille or Fiora. Speaking of which, split pushing is one of the best ways to use pressure to your advantage. As a split pusher, you constantly generate pressure when you start shoving waves. When you start taking turrets, the enemy is forced to send people to answer you. The wrong play is to overstay and end up dying. This allows the enemy to stop your push, and it means your allies on the opposite side of the map no longer have pressure on their side. The enemy top laner can now push waves to force them to answer, or they can teleport into the fight and have your allies fight a 4v5. If you split push properly and walk away so that you don't die, this goes differently. You'll be able to sit in the fog of war while the enemy clears the wave and goes back to deal with your team. Once they leave, you can quickly reappear and pressure their base with your tower-taking abilities. Forcing them to answer you or your allies is a win con in any game since they have to split their resources. Plus, depending on how fed you are, you may even kill 2 or 3 of their members for chasing you. Overall, use split pushing to your advantage if you're looking to climb in low elo. It can be hard to play around pressure with an uncoordinated team, but the enemy will also struggle with that issue. Use that to your advantage. Moving on to the jungle role, we've got playing for and around your win condition. As a jungler, it is your job to impact the map by ganking your laners and securing objectives. That being said, you have some pretty important decisions to make in order to win the game. If you're looking to carry games, you need to understand who on your team is your win condition. There are a ton of different types of win cons that you need to be aware of, and each of them heavily relies on team compositions. Diving into a few of the win cons, let's look at split pushers. If you're playing around your split pusher, you're going to want to make sure you give them some ganks and gold early on. Use Herald to break plates for them and track the jungler for counter ganks. Make sure that before you invest in the split pusher, that they aren't playing a losing matchup, nor that the enemy team comp can deal with them easily. While they generate pressure from splitting, you can use that pressure to take objectives like Dragon and Baron with your team. There are also various hyper carries you can play around in order to win you the game. Champions like Jinx, Aphelios, Azir, etc. are able to dominate teamfights with ease thanks to their powerful item spikes. That being said, they're very weak to long-range damage and assassins, so more often than not, having to deal with someone like a Fed Vel'Koz, Xerath, or Qiyana is more than enough to beat them. If the enemy team is able to one-tap them, it's best to focus on a different win con. Otherwise, play to give them as much gold as possible and do everything you can to protect them. They're precious. Some champions like Samira, Lucian, Akshan, or even Zed can make great win conditions thanks to their early power. Playing around them as your win con means that you're looking to use their early power to take towers, grab objectives, and overall snowball the game. While it does require a good string of plays, early game champs offer a ton of power to play around. That being said, if they don't get fed, they fall off extremely hard. A good sign to not play around your early carry is if they're struggling to get kills in lane versus someone like Seraphine, Ezreal, Malzahar, etc. Finally, we've got a win condition that you'll love to hear and junglers always enjoy playing around. It's themselves. As a jungler, if you pick a carry champion, you are your team's best way to win the game. Well, most of the time at least. Champions like Kindred, Graves, etc. are all able to get kills and take over games. Their incredible power lets them invade with ease while farming kills and have enough power to 1v9. While some players prefer to let others carry, these types of junglers put themselves in the spotlight and have to win that way. Just keep in mind that you'll be absorbing all the resources you can, so if you fail, it's on you. Make sure snowballing by getting kills, objectives, plates, and constantly keeping your CS up is happening as much as possible. And with enough practice, you can become a reliable win condition for any team to play with. Let's take a quick break and move on to our favorite Pro Guides tradition. Today we want to ask you all, what is one tip you'd give your fellow ranked grinders? For me, it would be moving your chat box as far bottom left as possible. This way, you'll barely see it when someone starts tilting, spam pinging, whatever it is that they're doing that is distracting you. By moving it so far away from the center of the screen, you'll barely notice that someone's raging, you'll focus more on your game, and you don't have to mute all. Sometimes you still do, but for the most part you can still enjoy some positive pings and some humor that comes with the chat. Regardless of what your answer may be though, let us know in the comments section down below. Now let's get back into the video. Next up, we've got the mid lane. Carrying in low elo as a mid lane is all about using your central location to your advantage. Being in the middle of the map allows you to constantly make plays and support your team wherever necessary. You can rotate with ease if your jungler is getting invaded. With some spare time, you can make your way bot for a double kill, or if your top is getting destroyed, you can head up there to relieve some pressure. Regardless of how you do it, your job as a mid laner is to impact the map as much as possible. While roaming may seem OP, it does take some careful planning. If you have a lead and take bad roams, you can easily set yourself behind. Before going for a roam, you need to be sure of a few things. 1. Does roaming help you or your allies win the game? Some matchups are going to be difficult, and you ganking them can result in the enemy getting a double kill, so sometimes it's not worth it. Number 2. Will you lose a ton of CS? Avoid roaming if the enemy can easily shove you in and make you lose farm. Be sure to shove your wave or set up a slow push before looking elsewhere. This will keep you safe from falling behind. Is it the right play for you? In solo queue, your allies are going to make a lot of mistakes. If you follow their bad plays, you're sure to set yourself behind, so make sure you keep yourself ahead and avoid bad plays. If your allies are inting, let them. Don't try to be a hero and save them. Overall, as a mid laner, you can get yourself a lead by dominating your lane. With that lead, you can translate it into a few powerful roams in order to get your allies ahead. It'll be hard to roam like a pro at first, but with time, you'll get the hang of it. Next up, we've got AD carries. Now as AD, if you're looking to carry low elo games, you're gonna have to be so selfish. This means you need to take every CS and not miss any from your own wave either. It means not dying because you're following a bad play just to save an ally. It means sucking up free experience so you can get a level lead. This level of selfishness seems weird for a lot of roles, but as an AD carry, you need as much gold as possible. You have some of the strongest spikes in the game and they all rely on gold gold advantages. The faster you can get to your item spikes, the faster you can deal more damage, and the faster you can end the game. Alongside being selfish with your gold, it's also important to have good positioning. Being able to position properly will let you deal as much damage as you can before or even if you die. There's no point in being extremely selfish and reaching your 3 item spike as Jinx if you like to give Zed a hug at the start of every team fight. Your role is one of the strongest in the game once you get a few items, but it's also one of the squishiest. Understand that you can carry fights with ease if you position behind your allies and hit what's closest to you. Practice your kiting and understand your champion priority. If their tank is in front of you, but so is their mage, then focus the mage. If the tank is the only one you can safely hit, then safely hit the tank as you try to reposition to hit others. Overall, AD carry is all about hitting your item spikes and winning the game with your immense power. Whether you're a hyper carry like Twitch or Jinx who can 1v9 at 3 to 4 items, or if you're Samira who can reach 2 items and wipe entire fights, it doesn't matter. Just understand when you're strong and play around it. Last but certainly not least, we've got the support role. Now, carrying in low elo as a support can be pretty difficult for a lot of players. This often pushes them towards mage picks who carry games through high amounts of damage. While champions like Brand and Vel'Koz are great for carrying games, we aren't going to be covering them in this video. Instead, we're going to focus on carrying with vision control and roam timers. Remember, these are fundamentals, so these strategies can be applied no matter what support you're playing. So if you're a Brand one trick, don't worry, you won't be missing out. As a support, your role is one of the most important ones in the game simply because of vision control. Your ability to clear enemy wards while simultaneously setting up your own is powerful. A lot of people underestimate the power of vision, but let's just say there's a reason pro teams focus on it so much. Vision allows you and your allies to gather information about the map and make plays based off of it. If you see their jungler topside, you can now do Dragon with ease. If your ally is split pushing and the entire enemy team walks over a ward to go kill them, you can now start and finish Baron. Vision control also allows you and your allies to safely take control of the area and secure the objective. Alongside this, as a support, you often have spare time to roam around the map and make plays. A great rule of thumb is to look for a mid roam if your AD carry has to recall and you don't. Otherwise, you can usually look to roam mid after you shove a wave and reset. And while you're mid, be sure to set up vision and hover for a counter gank or position yourself to CC the enemy. It doesn't matter what elo you're at, those are some very useful tips. And that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to join our ProGuides family at ProGuides.com, where we offer exclusive giveaways and classes that you won't catch anywhere else. So stay tuned and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, good luck on the Rift, and may the LP God smile down upon you.